expense, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. So welcome. We're calling this time the Champions Forum because you guys are champions. And I wanted to get us all back together, just to one, really to catch up and see what's going on out there, but kind of two, guys, to give you guys an update on what we're doing and what I see is going on out there in the industry. So, you know, I just appreciate you joining in. So let me just kind of give you my thinking behind this particular call. Now, I know for some of us, we've been doing this for years, you know, but it's all been on the phone. It's all just been us, which has been great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's been the best thing for me ever is for us getting together and sharing ideas and catching up. And it's been wonderful. But everyone got busy. It got, you know, a little tough to get us all together. So we held off on them for a while. But then all of a sudden, you know, COVID hits and it's a whole new world. You know, it used to be I was doing 2 or 3 seminars a month, and now I'm doing 0. So we all know that the world has gone to virtual. So it had to really get me up to speed on how to do all these things, and watched a bunch of videos, but it really made me decide, let's do this in a virtual way, because one, we're not going to be able to get together face to face at the PGA show like we would be normally next week. So here we are, you know, on a virtual call, seeing each other face to face. And yeah, it's a little bit tougher, but you don't have to do video, just FYI, so you know that. But this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be doing it different in the future, because what I want to do is I really want to open it up to the industry and get other people out. I want to get golf courses involved. I want to get suppliers involved. And we're going to do it once a month. And ideally, you know, on a Wednesday morning, just like we're doing right now. We're going to bring in guests. We're going to bring in experts. We're going to be featuring different products, because now we can show them visually. We're going to record all these so we can always go back if we miss them. We're going to post them on YouTube, which I'll talk more about in a second. And we're going to start one of the first ones February 3rd, just FYI. And the topic is going to be virtual events, how to do virtual events. So that seems like a hot topic. So that's kind of the new thinking. I want to expand it. I want to include others. You guys have been around with us for years, and I appreciate your involvement. But you are the experts. You are the champions. So love your input, love your thoughts, love your ideas. Anything you want to share, you know, please, you know, let me know on that. So now today's call, we're going to try to keep it to an hour. We're going to cover 4 things. One, what are we doing? What's the GTAA been up to lately? Quick update on that. We're going to talk about what's happening out there in the industry, and I want to share what I've been seeing from here, what's been happening. Maybe a couple of new ideas that we can implement during this COVID time, and then I want to hear from you. I want to give you guys each a few minutes to talk about what you're up to and what you're doing. I'm anxious to hear and catch up with you all. You know, the good news is, again, I get a chance to talk with you more than you all get to talk with each other. So I have a little bit of a handle, but the other guys don't. So real quick, what's been happening with the GTAA, just to bring you guys up to speed. First of all, I have to tell you this. This COVID thing is the best thing that's ever happened to the GTAA. I can tell you that right now, because to be honest with you, we were getting lazy. We were getting lackadaisical. Business was fine, steady Eddie, wasn't paying attention. And it was a wake-up call, because one day I went to do a little Google search on golf tournaments and charity outings, and basically we were nowhere to be found, which woke me up and said, wait a minute, what have I missed? And so literally over the last few months, I've watched hundreds of videos. I've interviewed tons of SEO companies and PR companies and social media companies, because there's no reason that we should not be found at the top of every page in regards to any charity corporate golf outing in the country. So I have chosen a new marketing firm. We are revamping everything. Hopefully you're going to see a brand new, updated, high-tech website, fast, mobile-friendly, with all the bells and whistles starting next month. So that's in the works right now. A complete new, up-to-date social media campaign, including not only Facebook, but Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn. We revamped our certification program. So now we have updated and more beefed up certification for tournament planners, which is someone who works for a charity, for golf courses, for someone who works at a golf course, and then consultants who want to do this, full time for a living, like you guys do. We now have the golf tournament channel. So I don't know if you guys have seen that on YouTube, but we've posted tons of videos and starting to get more subscribers. So if you get a chance, go to the golf tournament channel on YouTube. And would love for you to give me your videos if you ever want to put those and post those up there on that. And then the big news, one of the big news is I finally finished this book that I've had in mind forever, which is a complete guide to all the games and contests. There's over 400 tournament formats, scoring methods, games, contests, not just for tournaments, but for individual golfers. So that thing is selling like hotcakes. We got an e-version as well as a hard copy. So to be 100% honest, the COVID thing
buy the book. Buy that book. Buy it or download it. It's a good addition to your library.
Yeah, Jeff, you got it. What did you think?
Yes.
I mean, did you do a quick little review? Would love your review on that.
Seriously, it's a comprehensive, it's all right there at your fingertips, so that when somebody comes to you and they're looking for a new idea for on-course games or scoring or just to revamp something, it's right there. It's a soup to nuts thing. It's really good, Phil. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. So that's been, finally got that done because it's been on my desk and my to-do list forever. So we finally got that done. So that's, all this has been, sure, it's been a tough year. Sure, it's been interesting, but we kept our head above water, but it's woke me up. It's made me revamp everything because I'm not ready to retire. I'm not ready to play golf 5 days a week. My body can't take it. And there's just so much to do out there. There's so many charities, so many corporations that need us and what we do that I'm not done yet. So it's been good. Now, what's been happening out there in the industry? What have I been seeing? What have I been hearing? Well, obviously, one of the big things is, you probably all know, the PGA show is not happening. It's scheduled for next week. It is happening virtually. But let me just tell you, it's going to be interesting. The world's kind of waiting to see what that's going to look like because there's not very many exhibitors. The seminars, who knows? I signed up. It's free. Hopefully you guys will check in there, mainly for the vendors and the suppliers, because there are some booths, some virtual booths that we'll be able to check out. So I think you should be able to sign up for free still at this point if you haven't already, as a sales rep or a consultant, part of the GTAA. So that's happening. Obviously, 2020, very few, if hardly any, charity events. So that was tough. But I don't know if you knew this, but golf is going through the ceiling. Golf and corporate outings were at an all-time high. So there's golf going on out there. Just the charity events have been tough, mainly because, you can't put a crowd together. You can't do big, huge award ceremonies like you used to. The rules are all different in every state, every city. They're different. You know that. California is a ghost town. I mean, it's insane what's going on over there. Arizona, it seems like we haven't missed a beat. I mean, everything's open. Restaurants are open. Yes, every other table is plastic, dividers or whatever. But Arizona, we're very fortunate that things are going. But at the same time, there's rules. I mean, you got to wear a mask everywhere, social distancing, limited crowds. John and I, Parker and I, have had some fun selling golf cart dividers to golf courses, and that's a little extra stream of revenue. John, we should get the guys involved in that because they're all talking to golf courses. You're not allowed to have a rake in the sand trap. Now, I need you to help me understand that one. What does that accomplish? But the tough part is now you can drop your ball in the sand, give yourself a perfect lie, and I still can't hit a sand shot. So I don't know, what good that's going to do. But nevertheless, another guideline. So here's the bottom line, guys, that charities, I think, and what I'm seeing, are coming back twofold this year in 2021. Charity events. Yes, they got to follow the rules. Yes, they've got to follow the guidelines. But I think people are desperate, mainly because last year they didn't make any money. And so now they want to be bigger and better. So point being is they're going to need you more than ever before for this year. So What many have been doing, some of the things that I've been seeing is the award ceremony, obviously limited it. You can't have, 200 people in a room anymore. So either, you limit the amount of people or you have it outdoors. I mean, for some of us who live in where weather's perfect and great, outdoor ceremonies can still happen. Cart dividers, if they're screaming about carts and not enough carts, there's these cart dividers, these plastic dividers, that you see, everywhere that now go on carts. Golf-a-thons are really, really great right now and will be because mainly you're not having as many golfers and they're all out of their own. The award ceremonies are smaller. So golf-a-thons or golf marathons are getting huge. And then virtual golf tournaments. That's why I want to talk a little bit February 3rd on a virtual golf tournament. How do you do those and what's that all about? And is it even worth for us for getting involved? And I think the jury's out, but I know I'm getting a lot of emails every day about people asking about virtual golf tournaments. So bottom line is, yes, 2020 was tough for a lot of us, but the good news is I think 2021 is going to be phenomenal. So I appreciate you guys, all hanging in there, doing what you do. And I'm anxious to hear what you've been, not only what you've been up to, but really what have you done to kind of overcome this COVID thing, and what are your plans and what are you doing different, unique in your market and what's going on? So Joe, why don't you start off, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing besides fishing, although yes, we want to hear about fishing, but we also want to hear about business and what you've been up to.
Yeah, 2020 was a strange year, by all means. Revenue is off, certainly. Not as bad, possibly, as others based on the schedule of events. I'm still Central and South Florida. I'm up in Chicago now, Charlotte, some other places. But it's the winter months are a high season for golf events. My contracts are a third. So I get a third to start a tournament, a third halfway, and a third when it's completed. So I was literally a week and a half out from my biggest event in Miami when the world went sideways, second week of March. So I had built up, and the next biggest event that I do per year was the beginning of April, in other events, but fees had already been paid as part of the normal contracting and timeline process. The events then were deferred sometimes 2 and 3 times. We ended up moving them through 2020 as things continued to get worse. Only one of them was actually executed in Miami, the Hawaii Masakosa Freedom Foundation, October 3rd. It went from 2019, it was 412 golfers on 3 courses. It was 102 golfers on 2 courses. Was going to be about 148, I think, 2 days beforehand, but in Miami it rained an awful lot. In October it can, so that a third of the field just went away. So the revenue loss wasn't as bad as it could have been. Lost a lot of money in terms of margins, hole-in-one insurance, a whole signage, all kinds of things. If the events didn't actually take place, then, I literally had placed an order on a Wednesday with my promo down in San Diego for some pitch fix things, and literally called the guy back the next morning and said, have you caught the news? This is really what's going on. And had to cancel that, had to cancel a golf ball order. I think with John, we did Broward Sheriffs. So it was kind of weird. What has happened now is events are getting moved. I think if you look at the psyche of people, it's still high season here for golf, but there are no big golf events. So everything is moving to the fall. Anything that I've been doing. So it's what the good part of that is now my contracts are beginning. So revenue is going to start coming in as I start my third process. But the psyche of people is the vaccines finally got to get out in greater numbers in the next 4 or 5 months. More people get vaccinated, COVID cases go down, everything starts looking a lot better. People will start coming out of hiding, if you will. Florida, Phil, it's interesting you said Arizona's, almost didn't miss a beat, except for a couple of months. Florida is almost the same, except some big places like Disney and some things where you certainly can't gather. All the restaurants are open. Yes, there's physical distancing. Yes, there's partitions up. But it's pretty remarkable how open things are considering 3,000 people dying a day. Mm-hmm. It comes down to personal responsibility, and a lot of people just don't have it. So we're kind of hermits. No desire to really get out there on a regular basis and interact. But so business is looking up for 2021. 2020 wasn't as bad as it could have been. Cool.
Well, yeah, you're a little bit fortunate with Florida being a little bit more open. Other states aren't so lucky. So I appreciate that, Joe. Good stuff. Hey, so Jeff, you're always busy. What have you been up to, buddy? Tell us what's going on.
Past, present, future, I guess is the way I'll start. Last year was a challenge. We were completely shut down for the first couple months of the season, which then presented a quandary of where we had to push a lot of our outings back into the fall. We literally had 6 weeks of 5 days a week of outings. Weekends aren't we don't push many weekend outings because the courses are too expensive. So we finished strong, but we still lost 71 outings last year total and the revenue from that, but no complaints. We created, I got myself onto a committee with the state of Maryland's Health and Human Services for outdoor activities. And so we kind of I was a member of a committee that we got to write the guidelines and protocols and procedures for golf outings during COVID. And then our courses, of course, were leaders in this, no buffets, no post-round banquets. We put together a template for our clients on how to do social media event afterwards, where they showed videos and still photos of the day, announced the winners, did a grand prize drawing, did, all that kind of thing, but in a post event. They also filmed it so that if you couldn't watch it live, you could come into it later. So for the spring of this year, that's what we're implementing. We've had very little changes. I just had a meeting last week with the state committee again, and they said, no, everything you did last year, we want to continue and encourage courses to do this year. So our spring, there's not as many because people are having trouble getting sponsors. A lot of the sponsors, as we all know, are usually small to medium-sized businesses, restaurants, those types of businesses that are struggling, obviously. So some of them having problems getting sponsors. We've done some creative financing with blending things together, showing people how to take money out of a branding advertising budget as well as a philanthropy budget to put it together to make a sponsorship out of it. And we're really emphasizing the term donation to the cause. Do you believe in this cause? So then we're emphasizing the donation, and we'll recognize it in the form of a sponsorship. So we're kind of flipping it around a little bit.
Smart, creative.
So we finished strong last year, and the hot shot really was just, no pun intended, a boom for us. We had tournaments that were looking for new ways to raise revenue that contacted us out of the clear blue sky, and we went as far south as Trump National in North Carolina, Charlotte, with several of the Joe Gibbs Racing Programs events. And then also up in Pennsylvania with the Hershey family with their foundation up there at their country club. So word was getting out, and that kind of picked up a little bit. For this year, we're still treating everything like we did last year, as I previously mentioned. One of the things that we're running into here in the Maryland area is the golf courses, to go back to something Phil said, and I'm sure everybody's seeing this, the golf courses are so busy. I mean, it's 42 degrees here in Maryland today, and one of the courses I'm under contract with has 72 tee times.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm working on a project with Second Swing Golf. I don't know if you all are familiar with them, but they're a reseller and also a fitter, club fitter and everything. They were telling me last week that they sold more starter sets last year than they did the 3 previous years combined. So the sport is just exploding because, the baseball leagues, softball leagues here aren't playing. So they're turning to golf. Something else to do outside. So I've now contacted or heard back from 9 courses this year in the Maryland area and the central area here where I am that have said, we're not really looking to book outings this year. They lose money for us.
I've heard that too. I've heard that too.
So don't take it personally, but just realize you want a Monday morning or you want a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to get full freight. We don't have to shut down any tee times. We don't have to set up the course. We don't have to do all this work. So conversely, don't bring us any this year.
Right.
Just don't even bother to bring us any this year.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and the two courses that my company's under contract with have pretty much in my ear privately said the same thing, but they've made up, for us in other ways. They're helping us financially in other ways. But at the same time, that's presenting a challenge where these groups, that and every freaking golf course that I work with here, which is about 33, 34 courses, has raised their rates.
Oh yeah, why wouldn't you?
I was going to say supply and demand, baby.
Yeah, exactly right.
So all of a sudden the charities are going, and I've been saying this here in Maryland for about 3 to 4 years now. Our standard registration fee is about $150. Some of these organizations have been charging $150 for 10 or more years. But with the increased cost of greens fees, cost of doing business and food and beverage, they're starting to see that they're going to have to incrementally get up to 170, 175.
Right.
And, as I've told people, just remember, you're paying a lot more for other things in your life. So why wouldn't you expect for a charitable golf event? If you believe in the cause, what's 20 or 25 more dollars?
Well, absolutely. Plus, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Phil.
I was going to say, yeah, with banquets being zero, take it outside. And so they're going to expect to spend some more.
Yeah. And so to that point, and when you made this in your introductory comments, we're running it's a bit of an experiment, but when you look at the cost breakdown, and we all know this of what golf costs and what percentage of the registration fee, and to Phil's point about adding value and everything, I do watch your videos online for refreshers and everything, but about the value you're presenting to the customer. And so this year we took of the 80 or 90 that we produced, we took a survey at the end, and only about 12% said that they were pissed off about not having the post-round banquet. Plus, the 2 previous years we had done research and showed that only about 4 out of 5 golfers were staying for the banquet. So that's 80 on every 100 players. But yet the tournament was paying for the 20 people that didn't show. And that's money lost.
Right.
And so this year we are talking to people and we're running a couple experiments about, do some nice post-round where we can, do some post-round appetizers, high-end appetizers, things of that nature, pass around finger food, that kind of stuff, bring the price down and increase your fundraising. Because I'm not really sure who first started the first tournament where they had to have a sit-down meal. It was probably hot dogs and hamburgers, and eventually went up to surf and turf.
Yeah, right.
Which, I know about the value, and Phil's point about that is spot on. I mean, I talk about that frequently. But now we're actually running an experiment where a lot of our outings from last fall are saying, nah, let's not do that post-round. This is a good way. We're going to charge the same amount of money. But some of them, we've got restaurants that are giving the players $25 gift cards to come to their restaurant afterwards rather than having the meal there that day. And they're selling the gift cards to them for $25 value for $18 cash.
And that's what I love about you, Jeff. I mean, you flip things around. You turn a negative into a positive, and you sell it. And that's what we all should be doing, right?
Well, I'm amazed by it, but it's like, and years ago when I was in the financial service business, and most of you guys that are near or around my age have probably received somewhere along the line an invitation to a seminar which features a lunch and a dinner. And so I looked into that, and American Express 20 years ago was the first to do this, and they invited you to a lunch. Well, then everybody had to up the lunch from something at Perkins or whatever's in your local area as a modern restaurant. They started escalating it to Ruth's Chris, and and it was just like, this is getting a little out of hand. Well, you look at these dinners at some of these things, you can still have a nice post-round meal or event with awards and you know, little games and this kind of stuff and everything. But you don't have to pay $25 to $30 plus gratuity for a meal.
Right.
And when the charities are looking at the bottom line, and I go, well, that's a $3,500 to $5,000 increase in your net takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
Let's experiment. And we actually had one restaurant last year that we're doing box lunches here because we can't really do any meals. So we've actually escalated our box lunch where we have the standard one, which is the, you know, the ham sandwich, the roast beef, but now we do an upscale one. And a lot of our outings are now giving that to the player at the end of the outing to take home with them.
Interesting. Those are some phenomenal ideas. I just picked up a lot right there. That's good information. I want to get that stuff out. So I appreciate you sharing, Jeff. Always turning lemons into lemonade, buddy. Hey, so I'm very honored. I'm fortunate. I get to talk to John Parker almost every week, so that's really fun for me. But I'm honored that he had way more important meetings than this, and he's willing to join us. So, John, tell us what you've been doing, buddy. We've missed you.
Well, we've actually had a pretty decent year. To use the word pivot, we pivoted around February, March. And being a promotional products distributor, I've got hundreds of suppliers that got into the hand sanitizer business. So I had access to hand sanitizer and masks early on. And the problem is you have to buy them from China and you have to pay cash up front. And with the mask, for example, you had to buy a minimum of 2,000, and my price was 75 cents a piece at the time. Now it's, but that's what China does to you. Anyway, bought a bunch of them, sold a bunch of them, and along with the hand sanitizer. And my sales have doubled this year without golf.
Wow.
And we got into also the dividers, the plastic dividers on the golf courses. And I had a dream one night, and I thought I invented this product. And then I got on the internet and found out that I didn't invent the product. So there's a company out there. I just gave them a call and said, can I be a distributor? And they said, yeah. And we've sold hundreds of them to probably 15 or 20 golf courses.
Well, John, can I on that point, and I'm sorry I neglected to mention this. We found a supplier in Pennsylvania. I mean, it's an hour's drive from us. And we bought 100 of them. And we're now leasing those out to courses and to outings primarily. And we're charging $20 an outing, and they have to take a minimum of 40. And they pick them up at our office. We sanitize them, wipe them all down, and then they bring them back. But now, as a matter of fact, they're just lining up. People are referring. The courses are saying, yeah, call Jeff Mose at the On-Course Experience and see if you can't get some from him for your date.
That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I have this aversion to inventory. Yesterday, I gave away 30 cases of hand sanitizer to our school system here in Cobb County. And about 3 months ago, I gave away 100 cases to the Cobb County Police Department. And that was because I bought some that literally stunk. And I started getting complaints. And I said, I ain't doing this. I'm just going to give it away because I can't sell it. But it was okay because the amount that we sold, that was a drop in the bucket. We had to give away about $10,000 worth of hand sanitizer this year. But we did something good because the school system certainly needs it. The school foundation has a person that's going to personally deliver it to all the different teachers in Cobb County. And so we did good, and we still made money. But so this year, I've been working a lot of golf tournament products with several of you and with other customers, and I've kind of gotten out of the golf tournament planning business. But when I look at my numbers for last year, well, let's say 2019, golf was like 50%.
Mm.
I didn't think so until I ran the numbers. So, Phil called me really enthusiastic. He said, I'm going to stop playing golf 5 days a week because my game sucks. But I could give him some lessons. But so he kind of got me enthusiastic again, and with a totally different approach. Jeff, I thought that was interesting what you said about golf courses not wanting the tournaments anymore because they're losing money. Every time I play golf, the golf courses are packed, absolutely packed. You don't have to have barriers or anything here in Georgia. But it's funny, Phil. Yesterday I was on a Zoom call with a guy. The speaker was a guy that owns a big golf course here in Cobb County, Indian Hills, and several others. And he also owns a business that advises golf courses, sort of like Jeff's business. And he invited me to come by Indian Hills. He said they've been using these golf tournament partitions, golf cart partitions, but they haven't been buying them from me. And I'm curious whether they're making them or how they're doing it. So I'm going to go by today.
Which is a good question. Let me interrupt. Jeff, do you remember what you paid for yours?
We paid about $75 a piece. And they're big. I mean, they're really nice. They're all Velcro. They attach to the arms, the rails of the cart, the hands also inside to support the center of it. Some of them I've seen, and I think John's might be like this, or bungee cords, but I didn't see John till after the fact. But it takes literally less than a minute and a half to install it. And also it's just real easy to remove, but it is from front to back, from seat to ceiling. And actually my two courses asked me where I got them, and they're ordering 25 for each of the courses just to have for folks that say, we'd like to have a divide or pay the extra $20 for a cart to ride solo.
Interesting.
Well, let's get on a phone call. I'd like to see that, because I've had a couple. I'll
send you a photo of it. Yeah, I got a photo of it.
I sold 100. We don't pay that much, really. We sell them for 51 retail. But I sold, I forgot how many it was, I think 60 to the course down in Naples. Actually, it's funny, the city of Naples, Florida, just about every golf course there's bottom. That's my biggest market. But I sold them, 60 of them, and the guy calls me back and he said, I don't like them. And I said, what's wrong with them? He said, I thought it was going to be more encompassing. I thought it was going to be like, all it is a shield between the two golfers. And so if I had known about your product, Jeff, I might have been able to say, okay. So that was really painful to make that check. I wrote him a check for like $2,800. But if somebody doesn't like something, I'm going to, there was a little bit of, I charge a little bit of a restocking fee.
But John, it won't hurt us to have a couple of versions, a higher end and a lower end. Sure wouldn't hurt,
Yeah,
All right.
I'm going to go down to this golf course today. Maybe they've got another.
It's 45 minutes.
Yeah, Jeff, send me a picture if you have one.
I'm doing it right now.
All right. Okay,
Awesome.
we got to move on. We got two more guys. John, anything else you want to wrap up with? Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, good. All right. Hey, real quick, we want to get to Al and then Rich. Al, tell us what you've been doing in New Jersey. You still haven't got your camera working, buddy.
Yeah, it's driving me crazy. I apologize.
It's okay.
It's the first time it hasn't worked in a while. Of course, that's the way it is. Yeah, so I've had a rough year. I had some health issues, and I'm doing better. But I had some health issues that I was dealing with, and I really didn't have an opportunity to do a whole lot on the tournament side. And, fortunately I had my PR consulting business to help me keep going. And so, I've got a lot of the same issues that a lot of the guys had in terms of, not being able to get involved with charity outings. But, I'm looking forward to hopefully a better year this year. I want to thank everybody that's been sharing what they've been up to and things that have worked. And I'm looking for this to be a better year overall for me.
Feeling better?
I am. Yeah, I'm doing well. The only good thing about not seeing me is I had a slice cut out of my face the other day, so you don't have to look at that. But no, I'm feeling better, and I'm looking forward to a good year, better year. I'm looking forward to speaking to guys individually. Hopefully, if people could spare a few minutes, I'd like to do some one-on-ones if possible. But overall, it was a rough year for me, and I'm just looking to get back to some good things happening, and we'll see. But
right, well, we're here to support you, buddy, and I'm sure everyone's available to chat with you when you got a few minutes.
Godspeed, Al.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much, and I'm really impressed with what everybody's doing, and I look forward to speaking to everybody individually.
Plan on it
later.
Okay, Big Tom, Mr. Tom Calvin, creative Tom Calvin, never a second of boring in his life. Fill us in, buddy.
Well, I gotta say there had a little bit of this past year. Although you can also see I had nothing else to do, so I decided to grow a beard.
You look handsome, buddy. You look debonair.
Well, since I can't get on my head, I figured let's try the face.
Get him, Bobcat.
Looks good, Tom. Looks good.
I wanted to grow up and look like Joe Guilford.
Exactly.
No, and I do want to admit, last night I was able to make an appointment to get my COVID vaccine. So I'm looking forward to that. I finally will get it on February the 25th at 2:45 a.m. How's that for?
Well, first of all, Tom, you're skipping out. I don't know if the other guys are hearing you, but your video is skipping out and it's slow. I missed that whole sentence. What are you getting in February?
February 12th, I get my COVID-19 vaccination.
Oh, your vaccination. Oh, okay. All right.
45 a.m. That's how backed up they are here in Arizona.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So anyways, actually, Phil knows. I have spent this past year diligently on and the name is long, and forgive me, the American Legion Department of Arizona Golf Tour. It has taken a long time to put it all together because of the American Legion rules and regulations and bylaws, and had to change the name 3 times and the logo 15 times and so forth and so on. But we finally got it put together rather late because our first tournament is February 27th in Phoenix. And what it is, guys, it's 7 cities in the state of Arizona, a 2-person scramble, and I call it a modified scramble because to kind of mess with those folks that bring their ringers with them to win a charity tournament, we're going to throw things in like on this tee shot, you got to wear a 40-pound flak jacket. And on this tee shot, you're going to hit with a shovel. Just different stuff. Everybody hates getting in a charity golf tournament and know the same people win every year. So we're going to try to defeat that. We want it to be a total fun for everybody and give everybody an opportunity to win. At the end of, toward the end of summer, August 26th, supposedly the national convention for the American Legion is right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And that's when the championship of the amateur golf tour will be played during that convention, if they get to have it. But anyways, the winning team from each of the 7 cities will then come here for the championship. At the moment, we have the winning team, or the state champion, will receive tickets to the Phoenix Open as well as lodging for that week as well. but I've also been talking with a company called Fat Scooters, and they're talking to me now about donating 2 fat scooters each of the, or 1 fat scooter to each of the 2 championship team members. Also, staying with this amateur tour, it is in the state of Arizona alone this first year. We then intend to branch out to several other states in the Sun Belt. And I say in the Sun Belt because I'm also talking to a prospective title sponsor who is a solar company. So we're sticking with them. A way that, you know, here in the state of Arizona, we've got 84 American Legion posts. And each city has their major ones. You know, we're doing this in the 7 major cities in Arizona. And there's 2 ways for each of the posts to make money on this. And that is, number 1, I've asked each one of them to hold a pre-tournament mixer at their American Legion post for the players and sponsors of that local tournament. And then the other way that they can make money, which hasn't worked very well at all, and I purchased, and if anybody else has done this before, it's my first time purchasing lists of businesses, which to me would be prospective sponsors, and I purchased lists of golfers. So I first send out an e-blast to the prospective sponsor list, and then hopefully a committee would be at the American Legion post to do the follow-up phone calls. And what we've offered is that anybody who sells a sponsorship will receive 10% of the value of that sponsorship. So the possibility is there to make anywhere from $25 to $4,000. State title sponsor being $40,000. Downside is that nobody wants to make a damn phone call. So I'm trying to do them by myself, and you know how that works. I think that's pretty much it for the.
Hey, Tom, not to interrupt, I might have a suggestion. There are a lot of services that do outgoing calls.
Yeah.
In the office building that I reside in, they've got a call.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to break off. It's inauguration day.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
We're gonna miss it, Joe.
Okay. All right. We'll talk later. All right.
Hey, Joe.
See you, Joe.
Take care, Joe.
Yes, I want to look into that, but the problem at the moment is we started with a very, very small budget being 0. So that's why we were offering the commission as opposed to, you know, a hourly rate or anything for the basically telemarketers is what they are.
Yeah.
So, and you know, and I'm also meeting with, as all of you have, talking to prospective sponsors. They've already allocated their funds for COVID-related things, I'll say, you know, helping whatever. And so the funds are already allocated. We will put this on whether we have a sponsor or not. I know that we'll get small sponsors, which will cover the cost, but that big, hopefully this title sponsor that will come through and then our nut's taken care of. As Phil mentioned a while ago, and I can back this up, you all know I've been doing this golf classic for 24 years. 2019 was the last time we played, and we had 96 golfers. As of last Friday, for our February the 28th Shriners Golf Classic, we were sold out with 152 golfers.
Wow.
So yes, people are wanting to get the hell out of their house.
Yeah.
And go out on the golf course. And I'm the same way. Whoever mentioned a while ago, every time I go play the golf, and Phil, believe it or not, I am playing once or twice a week now.
Yay.
Yeah, I've dropped, right as of now, 8 strokes off of my game. So
Whoa.
I'm under 100 now.
Sounds like there's an eraser on that pencil.
Hey, it's the biggest eraser you've ever seen, Jeff. I'm telling you. No, I'm the same way. Every time I do play golf, it's packed.
Yeah, great.
You know, compared to just a very few months ago when they were begging for golfers.
Yeah.
Now they're not. They're out there playing. And I do want to step back. One of the things I did this year too, and it was because of the American Legion tournaments. Our state adjutant advised me to start a foundation to run everything through the foundation for the American Legion tournaments. So I now have the Tee to Green Charities Foundation Incorporated, which is also a 501c3 corporation. So I can pretty much use that on any tournament I start now.
Cool.
They don't
yeah.
have it.
Right,
That's a lot of work to start a foundation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
C3.
Yes, indeed. And then especially when you go to the IRS to try to get that 501c3, number one, you pay $275 up front, not knowing whether you're going to be receiving it or not.
Yeah.
And it takes literally 3 months to find out whether you got it or not. So, yeah, I just found out December the 20th that they gave me the 501c3.
That's great. Well, Tom, I always applaud you, buddy. You've created your own events, which I admire. You remind me of my good buddy who you need to talk to about golf lessons, and that's Rich McDonough. Rich, are you still with us? Because is your camera not working, or you just didn't?
No, it's not working, Phil.
Okay. Well, Rich, Tom needs golf lessons, and he also, you guys need to hook up because Rich has been running his own events for years in New York and making a ton of money, Tom. So you guys need to hook up with Rich McDonough.
Hey, Phil, let me stop you for a second, though, and tell you my opinion is that, you know, shooting in the 70s is really overrated. I mean, who wants to get down there, for God's sakes?
Yeah, it's boring. It's the same old, you know.
You're not getting your money's worth. You don't get your money's worth.
Exactly.
You don't get to see the course like I do.
Wait a minute. If some is good, more is better. Isn't that the philosophy of life?
That's
If some
right.
is good, more is better.
Hey, Rich, tell us what's going on in New York besides death.
Yeah, well, it's been a lot of fun in New York City, I got to tell you. Just a couple of things from listening to everybody. You know, as Phil said, I've been running my own events, you know, going with the philosophy, if I build it, they will come, rather than chasing people around to convince them that they should bring me in. And it's worked very well, but I've added a lot to what I've been not only teaching. I'm the head pro at a golf course in Brooklyn, but I picked up a bunch of Nike Junior golf camps, as well as the Golf Week Amateur Tour, and adding those to what I've been doing, similar to what everybody's experiencing when they go out and try to book events, that the golf courses, including my own, are packed. Where I found, you know, it's limiting to how many people, especially on weekends, we can have on the golf course, and I need to make more revenue. So I created the ancillary events, and maybe something you can remind people about, Phil, or mention it to them, is the practice facilities at golf courses. For the most part, you know, they're utilized, but they're open for rent. And if you walk in there, you can create, you know, a long drive event, golf clinics, putting competitions, short game stuff that fill up a lot of time, take a shorter amount of time, and you can walk out of there with, you know, $2,500 for 2 or 3 hours worth of work. And I found that for myself, the guys are really responding to it. Then we created, I don't know, it was about 8, 9 years ago, we had something called the Brooklyn Open, where we had pros through 20 handicaps all flighted at Marine Park. And I've expanded that now to the 4 other boroughs that have golf courses in New York City: the Queens Open, the Bronx Open, and the Staten Island Open. And those are all going to be play-in events to the New York City Golf Championship that'll be at the end of September this year. So it's drawing in a lot of attention, and I find that even from creating your own events, you know, you don't get many places to showcase what you can do. There's a lot of people ask me, you know, can you do this? And I tell them, no, I'm just too busy. But you get a couple of these things stabilized like I have. I mean, we have 115, 120 guys every event. it's a lot of fun. So overall, I think that therein lies the opportunity for charities, and there's a lot of golf pros that aren't working. You know, they're out there, but there's a lot of guys that don't have jobs, and you can get those guys to come out and do a golf clinic for you for, you know, a couple $100 for a charity, and get them out on the golf course and get an understanding, because all these new players have no clue as to what's going on the golf course, and they need education. I find myself doing that more and more and more with the newer players. I spend more time in my lessons talking to them about playing than actually teaching them how to play. So just another avenue, you might be able to come up with some new stuff.
Great stuff. Well, Rich, you're my hero. You're always, you and Tom need to catch up, because Rich has fine-tuned, you know, some of his own events up there. So you guys need to catch up and talk about that. Guys, this has been great. You know, I missed this. I think that we should do this every once in a while, just us guys. It's way more fun than hundreds of people who don't have anything to contribute. But we still got to do those too for, you know, for the rest of the industry. So stay in touch with me. Keep me posted. I'm going to keep you in the loop on everything we're doing here. I love hearing from you and what you're doing. So your ideas are always good. And then I may have to invite you to be a guest speaker in one of our bigger ones, sharing your ideas with the world. So plan on that. And guys, appreciate your time, and have a great season. Keep me posted, and let's stay in touch.
Thanks,
Thank
Phil.
you, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Okay,
Take care,
everybody.
guys. Be safe.
Seeing you
All right,
guys.
guys, take care.